Hello, everyone, and welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee, where we bring on experts to share some great tips, strategies to help you, business owners and entrepreneurs, grow your business. I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, and my goal is to help to stop business. Yes. Let's try that again. Good thing we record these things.
Right.
Hello, I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, and my goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and start making their business much easier. So business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to crack 7 figures without burning themselves out. And today we have another phenomenal guest for you that's going to help you in your business, in your life. We have Travia Steward. Now,
Travia.
I'm sorry.
Long A, Travia.
Let me slaughter your name. Hey,
I know, right?
Yeah. One guy called me Scott the whole time, and I at the end of the interview, dude, my name's Steve.
Right.
All right, let's do that.
Right.
Today we have Travia Steward. She's a coach, and she is hired when people, are tired of selling for that status quo. And I think many of us have been down that road. So she helps people uncover their dreams that they've been putting on that back burner. I think we all have done that. Now to dream bigger and then create exponential results in their lives. She does it by helping them become the person that they're meant to be, live the life that they were created to live, and host of Breakthrough Podcast. She highlights stories of people who are one day decided, hey, enough's enough. And it's time to take a stand for themselves, their health, their relationships. And they had a breakthrough that changed their life and the trajectory of their life. So please welcome Travia. How are you doing today?
Really, really good, Steve. Today has been a great day. As you know, we have beautiful weather in Arizona, so I'm good. I'm fantastic.
I know that some people have some of that bad weather. This is why we live here. We'll take the heat, and we'll also take the nice days in the middle of winter.
Absolutely. We certainly will.
Great. That intro gave us a lot about you, but what was your purpose of starting your business?
Steve, it was kind of like, it's the proverbial, I lived the moment of going into my high school classroom. Like I taught high school theater for 24 years, and probably about the last 5 or 6 of those years, every August, sometimes the end of July, because that's when we starting school again, I found myself with all the desks piled up on, themselves, on each other, the chairs stacked up. I would walk in and go, okay, this again, and I just felt like I had done it. There was nothing new about it. I wasn't going to reinvent the wheel again because I had sort of lost that zest for recreating something again in a new school year with a new, different bunch of kids. And it was really that moment of going, is this as good as it gets? And so I spent a lot of time going through the process of, well, who am I? What am I here to do? I know that I've had excellent exponential impact with my students for teaching for 24 years, but am I supposed to just kind of retire and then go off and go to sleep and buy a Winnebago and then, color in the states on the back of the tire? And is that all that I'm supposed to be? And I was like, I still have more to do. And so, Steve, that answer came for me, and it's time for me to do my own thing. I had worked with a life coach, and I was like, oh my God, like my eyes were open to the magnitude of how my life was changed working with the coach. And I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do, because I think everything happens for a reason. So I wanted to do something in a way of continuing my impact, but on a different, broader scale and in a different way. And I wanted to keep learning and do things on my terms. So that's what motivated me to start this next chapter.
Oh, excellent. It sounds like most of our entrepreneurial journeys, we all get tired of whatever we were doing and said, you know what? There's got to be a better way.
Yep.
And do it for you.
Do it for me. Do it for me. Exactly.
Well, good. I know a lot of our business owners and startups, entrepreneurs, I mean, they always struggle with like dreaming. I always say sometimes, think of a bigger potato. A coach told me about potatoes and I couldn't figure out what the heck are they talking about. And they said, well, you want to be a little spud or you want to be a giant, big potato? And it's about dreaming bigger, being bigger, and how to grow into it. So tell us some of the challenges that you see from people that are just not becoming their true selves and thinking too small, dreaming too small.
This is a great question. So, that's one of the things that I work with my clients about, teaching them how to dream. But if you don't come from an environment of where you have other people who are dreaming and people who are living lives bigger than you ever dreamed of, then you have no idea what to even dream, right? And so putting yourself in that place of, well, what's possible for me? Over Christmas, I spent some time with my in-laws, and they're from Louisiana. I'm not saying anything about Louisiana in a negative way because I'm from Louisiana, but there's a lot of negativity, right? And so I am a person who goes, I want to leave the people that I interact with better than I found them. I want to create a positive impact, all those things. And so I was talking about, something I had seen, like one of the guys who had a little 6 or 7-year-old daughter, and she was being a princess and she was marrying her dad. She thought the world of her dad, and because she wanted to marry him, in a metaphorical sense of playing fairy tale. And then I went back in the house and told that story. And then the elder lady was like, oh my God, you just wait until he yells at her. And then he yelled and what he did last week. And I was like, wait, can we just stay in the balloons of optimism for a moment? And so, but she's like, no, here's my dart, that balloon of optimism, right? And so I'm like, in that moment, I wasn't allowed to even look at the positive, much less dream about what that young girl was going to be able to do. And so in teaching people that anything is possible, because right now I feel like we have all been stifled in a way of going, you better be realistic, think realistic about that. No, whatever happened to dreaming when you were playing with the rubber duckies in the bathtub and you're playing make-believe with all these voices and characters, where you dreamt that you could do anything that you wanted to do. And so I help my clients go from coming up with an idea and immediately they go to impossibility. That won't happen, that's impossible. And then we go to the possibility of it. Then we transition into the probability of it. And so that's how I help them go through that stage of, I can do this and I can dream something big and make it happen.
Oh, it's so true. I think that's what hurts a lot of business owners. They're thinking, hey, if I could just get to 10,000 this month.
Yeah.
It's like, why not shoot a little higher? And I won't get it. It's like, okay, let's do the math. You shoot for 10, let's say you don't get it and you're at 9. Are you going to feel happy about it or are you depressed?
Right.
But let's shoot for 20 and you get 15. Are you happy about it or are you depressed?
Ecstatic,
Your goal was 10 a minute ago.
Right.
Now you're 15.
Right. That's true. Yeah. And Steve, every now and then I find myself falling back into that. I remember I had on my podcast, I had a financial analyst on my podcast and she was doing this exercise with me. She goes, hey, Trey, throw out a number, what you want to make a month? And I was like, 10,000. I want to say 20, but I'm going to say 10. And I was doing the exact same thing. And I was like, oh, what? No, 20. And so that's what we went to. But every now and then, I catch myself as well, with the realm of possibility and really, really dreaming about what's possible.
That's a great point. We're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, but we're going to come back and revisit this and then have you hopefully share a tip on how someone can get, stop this, let's start doing this. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your expert book completed in 30 days. If you don't have an expert lead magnet book about you and how you serve your market, then visit www.spotlight-books.com. Link is also in the show notes. Put a spotlight on your expertise.
And we're back. We're talking about setting bigger goals, dreaming bigger. And we just gave an example of how business owners sometimes we're confining ourselves because we're not dreaming big enough. So can you give us a tip on how we can break that cycle and start dreaming bigger and achieving more?
You know, Steve, I think one of my walking, mottos that I really am a member of, and I feel staunchly about it, is you are the average of the 5 people who spend the most time with. And so the tip I would say is you got to get out of your bubble. You got to get out of your house, off your block, out of the neighborhood, out of the city. And you have to start opening yourself up to more experiences and other people. And so when you are open to these things, like I had a conversation this morning with one of my clients who I'm coaching him, but he's also teaching me about Bitcoin. Now, if I don't get out of my little corner of the earth, I'm not even open to learning about Bitcoin, right? And so the tip is you got to get yourself out there. You got to introduce yourself to other people because everything happens for a reason. And there's a parable, in the Bible about, the example is, I'm going to butcher it, but you know what I'm talking about. The example is, hypothetically, I'm in the middle of, this water and I can't find my way out and I'm going to drown. And I ask God, God, can you please send me some help? Well, he sends a boat. I don't want to get in that boat. That old boat, that boat has holes in it. What? I'm not going to get in there with that man. Look at that man. He looks like he will. And God's like, what? I sent you these 3 things. Mm-hmm. And you said no to all of them. And so until we get out of our bubble, can we go out there and experience and be open to other experiences? You have to get outside of your house and out of your neighborhood and out of your city.
You brought up a great point because I also facilitate mastermind groups. And the first time I went or even entertain me being a part of the group, someone goes, do you want to change everything in your life? And I'm like, well, that's a pretty bold and big statement. I mean, everything.
Right.
Like, no, literally everything in your life. And I'm like, so we got into it. And he goes, first, we got to get you out of the networking groups that you're currently in. Let's go to this mastermind group. Yep. When I went there, I realized these are all people operating at a much higher level than I am. Their frequency was higher, but being around them changed mine. And now I started resonating with them on the same frequency. And then I went back to a networking group and they're all like, whoa, what changed in your life? And I'm like, everything.
Everything. I love that. Yeah.
So you nailed it. If you're not getting the results you want in your life and your business, get in those kind of groups. Do you have kind of groups that you would suggest or go to elevate that?
Steve, I'm a part of a mastermind. I actually also have coaching cohorts that kind of just came together because it's like, okay, we collaborate really, really well. Like, for instance, one of my favorite times of the month is, and you might know her. Her name is Catherine Birchwood. And she's done some JVology, some strategic alliance. And so I met Catherine on a Christian Michelson workshop. And Catherine and I bonded in a breakout room. And so we got in touch with each other. And now we meet once a month. And sort of we hold each other accountable. We inspire each other. We motivate each other. And Catherine lives in Canada. And, we've never met in person, but it's one of my favorite times of the month because she and I have this collaboration going on where she wants the best for me and I want the best for her. And I have this mastermind that I'm doing with James Lamb, who, with James, my God, he will light you up, which is what I do for my clients. I want to be the wind beneath their wings. And James does that for me. and so we all need it. So I do have, I don't think you always have to pay for groups. Sometimes you can just go do a meetup.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just go online and you can go and cycle, because I'm a cyclist, and sometimes I cycle, and then we go and sit down after the ride. And then what is it that you're bringing to the conversation? Right? So what is it that you're expecting from that conversation? Are you leaving people exactly as you found them? Or are we injecting things into the conversation to where, you know what, I'm open to this. I want to take you higher. So I think you can find meetups, you can find groups, you can find masterminds and microminds, but you can also make your own. But you have to be seeking these things and seeking to improve parts of your life in order to be open to it and to get it.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm even in an accountability group. It's 30 minutes, 6 of us, fast and furious. But we've all changed our lives and our businesses just by doing that. And we all notice something about us. We're now becoming way more giving, more servient leaders than anything before. At the beginning, it was like, well, I'm going to work on this. I got my blinders on. Then it became like, wow, I'm starting to help all these people, which is helping my business. So yeah, completely couldn't agree more. So, I'm a giver. I definitely love to have you give gifts, helping the entrepreneurs, helping these business owners and their businesses in their life. What kind of things could you offer our listeners?
So what I have to offer you today is my masterclass that is called Untethered. And so it's a foundation of the work that I do with my clients. And what I want to do is walk them through a part of that foundation of how can you recognize and then dismantle and then release those thoughts, those beliefs, those barriers. I want to help them break through those glass ceilings, those limits that they placed upon themselves. So how can I help them go, this is why I'm not dreaming. This is why my relationship isn't working. How can we get to a point of untethering these things so that we can dream again? We can stop living vicariously through others. We can know deep down inside that, not just know it, but act on it, that we were made for more. And so it's a 90-minute to 2-hour masterclass on Zoom. I keep it really, really small to about 6-8 people tops, because once you get past that, it's kind of too many. Everybody doesn't have time to talk. But what I do is take them through a process of, let's identify what's happening in your life. Take me through that moment of when you last had a challenge. Okay, let's create that. Now let's hone in on what is that thing that you're still tethered to. And so that is the foundation of the base of my work. And so I would love to offer that free masterclass. And we're running the first one. So my plan is to run them about the first of every month. And the first one, and I know this episode won't drop until March. And so the first Sunday after that will be April 3rd. So April 3rd, I would love it if your listeners would go to traviasteward.com. Right on there's a link for sign up. You can either get on the email list or you can get on the masterclass list. And then I send them a link and boom, they're in. And, I've had some people, I've run a version of that before, and they were like, oh my God, I didn't even pay for anything. But I feel like based on the time that you gave us and the exercises that we did, the trajectory of my life is altered forever. So that's
a fantastic gift. And I love how you're releasing it, because a lot of people just cling on it and they think, hey, I could still try to elevate myself, but you're still clinging on that old belief.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
No, we're going to send it down the river.
Yeah. Yeah. Do what you got to do. Burn it. Just do something with it. Get rid of it, though.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Let everyone know that we will have that link in the show notes. So please take advantage of that wonderful offer. I mean, these are things that help us in our businesses and our personal lives. Definitely take care of it. Any last minute comments?
Steve, thank you so much for this opportunity. And, I'm of the mindset that we can't get ahead without each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that you were on my podcast, I'm on your podcast, and I feel like we're all a family, we're all a community, and we just want to help each other and then help everyone listening get their piece of the pie, right? We all want a piece of it, and we can all help each other, and we can all climb that ladder and look back and have a hand and help the next person up. And that's what I'm looking to do.
That's fantastic. I just want to say thank you so much for being our guest here today and sharing your knowledge. Folks, take advantage of her wonderful offer. Go in the show notes and all the information's there. Thanks again. And to everyone out there, this is Biz Coach Steve Feld wishing you and your business much success.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you'd like to discuss how you can apply these strategies in your business, let us know. This episode is sponsored by Spotlight. Get your own expert book written about you in 30 days. Set yourself apart from the competition. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to give us your comments. We look forward to hearing from you on Biz Coach and Coffee.